Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from Miami at Exchange, an ETF experience where we're meeting with the top thought leaders and innovators in the ETF space. Joining us for this segment, we have Ben Slavin. He's the Global Head of ETFs at Bank New York Mellon to discuss innovation in the ETF space and product development. Ben, it is great to have you in person, on the ground at a conference again.
Great to see you, Jill.
Let's talk about the explosive growth in ETFs recently and where it's being concentrated from a product perspective.
We are seeing product development and innovation up and down the league table in the ETF market. So we're seeing the larger players come to market with additional products to try to change really what investors have been playing in the last several years with different kind of products, active products, option-based income products, ways to play this part of the market cycle. And also we're seeing a lot of innovation come from some of the smaller startup issuers who are also been launching many thematic products and many products that really are trying again to play this type of inflationary environment that we've been seeing the last few years.
What are some of the regulatory issues that the ETF space is contending with?
Well, I think ultimately we are seeing a huge amount of development on the back of really the ETF rule that was passed in 2019. And that has spawned, in part, a lot of the product that we're seeing in the marketplace, but also quite a bit of innovation. So really it allows the ETF issuers to launch a wider range of strategies. Most notably, we're seeing that in the fixed income market with custom baskets, and that has been a catalyst to provide not only just fixed income product to the market, but also a significant amount of actively managed strategies, making it effectively more easy for issuers to launch those type of strategies.
Well, here's a $1 million question. Is the industry ready for a crypto ETF? And from a regulatory perspective, what's it going to take to achieve a crypto ETF in the US?
That is probably not the $1 million question. I'll say it's the billion dollar
yes.
question, maybe multiple $1 billion questions. Well, look, we've been on this path for quite some time. We saw the futures-based products launch several months ago with some success, but we're still waiting for a spot or a physical crypto product to come in the US. What we are seeing though is, while we wait, a lot of innovation going on globally in the industry. So BNY Mellon is a global player, look not just in the US, but across and around the world. And markets like Switzerland, Germany, also Canada, are seeing not only demand and flow into crypto-based ETFs, but also quite a bit of innovation. It's not just Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's a wide range of digital assets. And that's where a lot of the action and innovation's been happening while we wait for the SEC to approve. And at this stage, we are still in a position where not all of the issues have been resolved yet, and so the queue continues to stand in line and wait for the SEC to move. What
thematic ETFs have gained the most traction?
Well, again, we're starting to see some rotation. Certainly, those products that are looking to play the inflation trade have come back into vogue. So if you think about it, really, the fixed income market has seen a big sell-off. In fact, the US Ag, I think, had its worst quarter ever just this last quarter. And that's causing some of this rotation into really investors looking for other ways to try to gain back some of that income, but move away or sidestep this part of the cycle where fixed income ETFs have been hurting, so dividend ETFs. Other products specifically targeted around inflation are really seeing a lot of interest from investors, and we're also seeing a lot of new products that will be coming to market over the next several months in those spaces.
And speaking of new product, what's the latest with ETF product development at BNY Mellon?
We've seen just an incredible volume. That is really the story. It's been about growth. So to date, we have seen in the last 18 months, roughly one ETF product a day launching on our platform. I'm not sure if we're going to hit that record this year, but if not, we're going to come pretty close, just given not only the organic growth from the existing issuers, but a lot of new entrants coming to market. And we're seeing a very high volume of players that really want to wrap their investment strategies inside ETFs, and so it's going to come from the new and the old, I think, and again, just a lot of innovation, and specifically around active that we're seeing, this year.
And that was my next question. Really, what's disrupting the ETF landscape in 2022? Because I feel like active really is one of the key themes here at this conference.
Well, look, active is taking up a lot of attention, right? From a, it's from a media perspective and certainly investor attention and a lot of what people are talking about at this conference. However, it's really the boring vanilla products that are really continuing to vacuum up a big portion of the assets. That said, it's our expectation that actively managed ETFs will increase in terms of flow from single digits as it was last year, potentially in the 10 to 15% range in terms of total investor demand. But again, that is off a much smaller base, so we're seeing some continued, and we expect some acceleration in adoption, but it's got a long way to go to catch up to passive. But that's where the innovation is going.
Is cybersecurity impacting ETF product development at all?
Not really. It's an issue that we deal with quite frequently with with the fund boards and our clients. But the reality is ETFs are actually a little bit unique in the sense of there's no shareholder data that is held by the ETF issuers. And that kind of is a little bit of a unique feature given the fact that they're exchange traded. So a lot of the cybersecurity issues really aren't inherent in the products, but many of those questions and those items are really addressed by the brokers and who are offering those products, because again, that's where the assets and the customer data are really held.
I never realized that. I mean, it's held in stocks, but I didn't realize it wasn't with ETFs. Always learning something new, Ben. Appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thanks, Jill.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.